This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy for this Christmas Day. And yes, there was his famous Christmas Day birth. It wasn't the Savior, although nothing beats the Savior, but he is Rickey Henderson, who's now 63 years old. He played in baseball for 9 teams, including not one, not two, but four tenures with the Oakland Athletics. The baseball's greatest leadoff hitter and base runner. He stole lots of bases. He holds that record. Runs, unintentional walks, and leadoff home runs. So he was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2009 on his first appearance. Rickey holds the single season record for stolen bases, 130, and is the only player in AL history to have 100 bases stolen, and he did it 3 times. Lots of people don't steal more than 70 bases in a season nowadays. He has over 1,400 career steals. That is more than 50% higher than Lou Brock's 938. He actually had the Yankees franchise record for steals for a while, until 2011. Henderson was the MVP of the AL in 1990 and the leadoff hitter for the 1989 A's and the 93 Blue Jays when they both won the World Series. So he's had 2 World Series rings. He has been elevated for a lot of things and all that. Rickey Henderson was good and all that. Henderson had his high school sweetheart and 3 kids. All girls, I think. If I remember right. Henderson was drafted by Oakland in the 4th round of the 1976 baseball draft. He would do okay in the Northwest League. He would join the Pacific Coast League, aka the AAA squad in 1979, and would make his debut June of 1979, going 2 for 4 and still at base. In his first full season in the majors in 1980, he stole 100 bases, becoming only the 3rd player to do that, after Maury Wills and Lou Brock. And his 100 steals actually broke the record set by Eddie Collins in 1910. And it was the new American League record. No American League player had 100 stolen bases. Ty Cobb had 96 in 1915, but anyway, he did pretty well for himself. And Henderson was a decent MVP candidate in the shortened 81 season. He was actually the emblematic figure of the Billy Ball philosophy, which is like small ball in a sense. He actually finished 2nd in MVP for the Whirly Fingers. Why, I don't know. So Henderson was known for showboating in the outfield. Then Lou Brock's record of 118 steals in 1974 was broken. Rickey did it with 130 bases. He stole 84 by the All-Star break. And in fact, no player has stolen 84 bases since 1988, which is weird. Anyway, Henderson's 130 steals actually were better than 9 AL teams by himself. Henderson decided to have an exaggerated crouch as his batting style, which reduced his strike zone without sacrificing much power and all that. In fact, Sports Writer said that Henderson's strike zone was smaller than Hitler's heart. All that. So, of course, there was a lot of things going on that way. 1984, he led the league in stolen bases and 2nd in runs scored. Unfortunately, Oakland decided to trade him to the New York Yankees in December of 1984 for 5 players. They all were kind of hacks in a sense. Tim Burstas was nothing. Jay Howell would be better known for being part of the 1988 Dodgers. Stan Javier was a decent player for Oakland. I think he was part of the team in the 1990 when they won the title. 1989, pardon. Eric Plunk, who would actually be a better reliever for the Yankees back again, and Jose Rijo, who would be better known as the guy who sunk the A's in the 1990 World Series as a member of the Reds. Anyway, his first season with the Yankees, he had 146 runs scored and 80 stolen bases, leading the AL. He won the Silver Slugger Award and third in MVP voting. He had the most runs by a player since 1950, and was the first player since Jimmy Fox in 1939 to have more runs scored than games played. He didn't really play that many games. That's pathetic and all that. Rickey would help the Yankees do well in the 1985 season, but sadly, they would lose the division title to my beloved Toronto Blue Jays. Anyway, 1986, he led in runs and stolen bases again and was doing pretty well for himself. He had 28 home runs, so let it be known that he could hit a lot of home runs. All that. Unfortunately, Rickey would not be good because his eccentricities were not taken kindly by the sports writers and all that. And Lou Piniella, who was the Yankees manager at the time, wanted Rickey gone for jacking it, like not playing it that well. So, in fact, Henderson got hurt and all that. So Rickey would, that was the only time between 1980 and 1991 that Henderson was not the AL steals leader. But he was hurt, I think, in 87. So, anyway, Henderson did pretty well. In 4.5 seasons, he was the Yankees franchise leader with 326 stolen bases, breaking Hal Chase's record. That record would be broken in 2011 by Derek Jeter, but he had to play more than 1,700 games, more so, in a Yankee outfit than Henderson. Anyway, he had another stint with Oakland. So he was traded back to Oakland and helped the A's in their dominant 1989 year. Remember, Rickey Henderson was the reason why Oakland won the World Series in the first place, especially in the ALCS against my beloved Blue Jays, as he was basically a one-man show. Why did the A's won? He hit 400, he scored 8 runs, and delivered 2 home runs, including a monster shot into the center field seats at the Sky Dome in Game 4 of the ALCS, which was then topped by Jose Canseco's 5th deck shot. Regardless, he looked pretty good and all that. He didn't win the World Series MVP, but it didn't matter. However, he was victimized by Nolan Ryan's 5,000th career strikeout, but he took it in stride, saying, if you haven't been struck out by Nolan Ryan, you're nobody. Anyway, Rickey Henderson almost won the 1990 AL batting title, but lost on the final day to George Brett, which was shocking that George Brett was still playing. Anyway, his performance was still good. He led the league in runs, stolen bases, on base percentage, and OPS, on base plus slugging. He won the AL MVP, helped Oakland win the pennant, but shockingly lost to the Cincinnati Reds. Despite the fact that the Reds won the NL West from pillar to post, they still weren't good enough. And everyone thought Oakland was going to win the World Series. Not. So Lou Brock still had the record for stolen bases, 938. However, Henderson broke that mark May 1st, 1991, against the New York Yankees. Unfortunately, Rickey would show his egotistical side, saying, Lou Brock was a great base stealer, but I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you. Ironically, May 1st, 1991 would also be remembered for a day that served as Nolan Ryan's 7th no-hitter, if you must know. So, Rickey Henderson was doing well for the A's, but Oakland started to tumble after their 92 shock LCS loss to the Blue Jays. Everything goes with the Blue Jays and Rickey Henderson. So anyway, the Blue Jays traded for Rickey Henderson in the trade deadline in 1993, and he played fantastic and all of that. So the trade for Steve Carsey and Jose Herrera was okay. Carsey would be a better reliever for other teams, but the Jays didn't need him. He was disappointing for the Blue Jays. In 44 games, he only batted .215. He fractured a bone on his hand early on with the team, but he got 22 stolen bases. and his batting woes did continue in the postseason. Nevertheless, Rickey Henderson actually had a spectacular Game 4 of the 93 World Series against Philly, hitting a major 2-run double that tied the game. No, that made the game close. But Rickey Henderson was on base when Joe Carter hit his walk-off home run as he took a 4-pitch walk from Mitch Williams to start the bottom of the ninth in Game 6. He resigned as a free agent with Oakland in December 93. He would still do pretty well for himself in 94-95, being in the top 10 in the AL in walk, steals, and on-base percentage. And then after the 95 season, he signed with San Diego, where he had a respectable year. And then in August of 97, the Padres decided to trade Rickey to Anaheim and didn't really do too well. Then he went back to Oakland for the last time in 1998. He actually led the majors in stolen bases in 1998, which was weird. He was approaching 40. But he decided to sign with the New York Mets and did very well for himself. He was named the 99 NL Comeback Player of the Year and wore 24, which was the first time a Mets player wore 24 since Willie Mays' retirement. Anyway, Rickey Henderson was decent, and then the Mets decided to release him in 2000, May 2000, and then was signed by the Mariners and all that. In his second game as a Mariner, he hit a leadoff home run, making him the third player to hit a home run in 4 different decades. Ted Williams and Willie McCovey were the others. Williams was, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Like 1939, he started his career. In 1960, he ended his career. So he had home runs in those 2 years. And then a season in the 40s and 50s. And Willie McCovey was the 59 NL Rookie of the Year, if memory serves me right. And then 1960s, 70s, 80s. He played in 1980. Oh, yeah, he played in 1980. Omar Vizquel would actually be the 4th in 2010, doing it in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. He did okay. And then as a free agent, he signed with San Diego again after his stint with Seattle. He set 3 career records, major league records, during that 2001 season, the season which was interrupted by 9/11. He broke the record for most walks by a player. That was Babe Ruth's record of 2,062. He broke that. He broke Ty Cobb's record of career runs with 2,245 runs. And Zach Wheat's number of games in left field. That record was 2,328. And he also got a 3 offensive hit on the final day of the season, which was Tony Gwynn's last major league game. Henderson actually wanted to sit out because of it being Gwynn's last game, but Gwynn insisted that Henderson play and all that. Henderson was removed from the lineup when he scored that double. Anyway, he still did pretty good. He was 42 years old, still playing, and then he wasn't done yet. Oh no, he signed with Boston. He played center field, being the oldest player ever to play center field in Major League history, replacing Johnny Damon for a few games. During the 22 years from his debut through the end of the 2001 season, he stole more bases by himself than his new team had. So he stole 1,395 bases before he came to Boston, and Boston career-wise had 1,382. All that. Henderson played 1 year for Boston and was without a team. He would play in the Atlantic League. And surprisingly, the Dodgers decided to sign him over the All-Star break, and he played 30 games for them. But that was basically the end of the era for him. He actually played for New York in 2004, and he was in the Golden Baseball League and all that. But Henderson would not accept the end of the, it's not the end of it. I don't want to end it and all that. But he had to. The writing was on the wall. But Oakland did retire him into his number 24 in 2009, and he did concede in July of 2007. So anyway, he did okay, and he was the first base coach for the Mets in 2007. But his personality was huge and all that. He has his phraseology and all that. Because one time he told Kevin Towers, the San Diego general manager, Kevin, this is Rickey calling on behalf of Rickey. Rickey wants to play baseball. But he calls himself in the third person when he tries to remind himself and all that. Scold himself and all that. One day, actually, Rickey Henderson had a $1 million signing bonus that he framed instead of cashing it, losing interest and all that. In fact, he refused to spend his per diem money that all players receive on road trips. He would put the envelopes containing the cash in a box, and when one of his children performed well in school, he would invite them to choose an envelope out of the box and keep its contents. And all that. And then the famous story about Rickey was that a Padres teammate offered him a seat anywhere on the bus. Said that Henderson had tenure, but Henderson said 10 years. What are you talking about? Rickey got 16, 17 years and all that. But Rickey Henderson was a little bit of a ham, if you will, and all that. So Rickey has a lot of milestones. His records, most stolen bases, 1,406 times, and caught stealing 335. He scored over 2,295 for runs, so he's number one. Most games led off of a home run, 81. Most consecutive seasons hitting a home run, 25. Most seasons leading the league in stolen bases to a 12. So he was just that damn good. He only won one AL MVP, but his legacy still is intact, whether Rickey likes it or not. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.